this is Rosa Kelly. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to continue working on this folio tutorial using the Proper Gentleman collection, a Proper Gentleman collection by Graphic 45. As you know, this is a design team project for JS Hobbies and Crafts. So we're gonna have the link to the store and all the supplies that we are using down on the description box below. So last time we worked on the main binding of the folio. As you can see here, I decorated the front page as well, or the front cover, and then we work on the first section. Now I'm working on this section separately so it's easy to add the paper and cut and maneuver and all that stuff, and then we're gonna go ahead and add it. Since the last part, all I did was cover this piece on the front and just over here, and then I use a little bit of my scraps to cover the top side, just to cover the magnet. I am thinking on using some craft color cardstock because I think it coordinates with the whole vintage theme, and I really love the colors, the combination of the black with the craft color. And you also want to save some paper since you're going to be gluing pictures, so might as well don't use all your beautiful design paper if it's going to be covered. So now I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to continue adding the paper and the craft color paper later on, but I want to start building on the second section of this folio. So we are going to start with this piece that we cut ahead on part 1. So this measures 10 3/4 by 9 1/4. So I'm going to cut 2 sheets of paper, and we're going to do 9 1/2 by 10 3/4, which is the same length here, same height. And now we're going to score these pieces at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Okay, so now we're gonna place these along the 9 1/2 inch side, and we're going to do 1/2 inch and 1 inch, and same thing for the other piece, 1/2 inch and 1 inch. And now we're going to fold along the score lines, and we're going to add the double-sided tape on the outer 1/2 inch. So let's just grab the tape, place this down just like this, and let's do the same on the other piece. And now we're gonna add these 2 pieces into the base page. So we are going to do one on the left and one on the right. So the first thing I'm going to do is line up the left side here, and we're just gonna lay this flat for now on this other 1/2 inch gusset that we did, and we're gonna pull down on the tape. Then I'm going to open this up and add the other side on the right side. So again, I'm going to take off just a little bit of the tape and line up the corners and the sides, and make sure that it is even, just like that. And then I'm gonna take the tape off, and now we have 2 side flaps. Okay, so now you want to stand your gussets that we did, this other 1/2 inch. And so let's go ahead and do that, 1 and 2. So now I'm going to add the magnet so we can keep this close, and also so we don't cover the area where we're going to need the magnet once we start building the page. Okay, so I'm going to just add my magnet on the left side here, just right on the center, and then I'm gonna put the next one right on top. And you want to make sure that you stand up your pages and that your gussets are perpendicular to the base. Okay, so then once you have that set, you can go ahead and just peel your tape and press down on it. So I have my gussets perpendicular here and here, so I'm just gonna hold it right on the center and press down what I need this to be. Okay, So now we have the second base or the second piece, this one, and we're gonna start working on the midsection. So for that, I wanted to do a waterfall to display all these little cards from this collection. Let me show you from this page here, and I just love it. I think they're so cute. I think it will be so much fun to make like a little pull down waterfall. So I'm going to cut 8 pieces of 2 1/4 by 3 3/4 to make that waterfall. And then I'm going to do one long piece of 3 3/4. And this measures 12 inches, but we're going to trim that in a little bit. So now I'm going to grab my scoreboard, and we are going to score 1/2 inch 8 times, okay? So let's do 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, 3, 3 1/2, and 4, okay? And we're going to fold along each one of these score lines just like this. I'm gonna do, here we go, one more. So I'm gonna put this aside for now, and I'm going to cut the images of the cards, and then we're gonna glue those down into these little pieces. So I have all these little pieces now, and I'm just gonna glue them into my cards. So once we add the piece into there, I'm going to just simply glue them in here. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the first one down. So you just want to put your glue in that first 1/2 inch score line that we have, and then we're going to continue building the waterfall on the same way. So I'm going to glue another one of these cards here, and now I'm going to add the glue on the next 1/2 inch line, and we're going to just place it right there like so. So we have the second one, and same thing with all of them. So I'm just gonna do this really quick. So I have all of the pieces for the waterfall down, and now I'm just going to trim this bottom piece. I'm going to give it another 1/2 inch spacing and just cut right there. And for the last piece here, I'm going to add more of these little cards, and I think we can add 3 of them together to cover that whole area. So let me just cut the sides like this, and I'll do these ones here. I think that should be good. There we go. Okay, so now I'm just gonna glue this one down on the large piece here on the bottom, just like that. Okay, so now to continue with this element, I'm going to grab one of my pieces of scraps. Maybe I need something smaller like this. This probably measures about 1 inch. So this is 1 1/4 inch, and so this measures 3 3/4. So you want a piece that is a little bit wider than that. So maybe I'm gonna trim this right there. And so this is gonna measure about 5 1/4. So there you go, that should be good. And then I also want to cover this, so I'm just gonna grab some scrap pieces here, something like this for example, and so we're gonna cut a piece of 5 by 1 just to cover this little belt. Let's do that. Here we go. Okay, so now we're going to incorporate our waterfall little feature into our folio. So for that, I'm going to cut a new piece of cardstock. First, I'm going to cut this at 6 inches. Let me put that aside. 6 inches. And then I'm going to cut these at 10 3/4. Just like this. I'm going to score this piece at 1/2 inch, just like that. And then I'm going to fold this, and now I'm going to add my double-sided tape on this little flap, just like this. Then we're gonna press this down, and I want to incorporate this into my folio like so. So this is going to be like a little flap, but I do want to build it before I add it. It'll be much easier. So I'm going to use this piece from the collection. Now I cut this at 5 1/4 by 10 1/2. I'm just going to ink this all the way around like so. There we go. And all of this like that. And then we're going to glue this down to the page. Okay, so here we go. Let's place this down. So now we're gonna see where we're gonna put our waterfall. Now I know I want to use this piece from the chipboard pieces, and I think I have enough room to put that and the waterfall at the same time. So I think I want my waterfall to be somewhere down here. So I'm going to place the belt kind of lined up with, so here's the bottom piece. So you want to place it kind of line up with the second one. That's where you want it in terms of positioning the belt. So kind of right here. That's where I want this to go. So I'm gonna take this out for now, and it doesn't have to be super exact, just kind of as a reference. So I'm just gonna glue the edges, both of the sides, and place it. So I'm going about 1 inch away from the bottom edge here. That's where I'm gonna put this belt. Okay, and then we're gonna open this up and just slide the first piece under, and then we're gonna put this whole thing on top, just like so. So now I'm gonna open it up, and I'm going to add glue on my belt just on the center here. Okay, and now we're gonna close this again and make sure that it is straight and aligned. And now I'm just gonna press down here on the glue, and I'm also going to glue the chipboard piece that I want to add. Okay, so we're gonna place this right there like so. So I think this is a fun little feature to have on the folio. So it's always good to have a lot of room for pictures, but then also some fun different elements. So now when we pull down on these little cards, you can see the whole collection, and I like the fact that we can see more cards in there. And now of course you can have room here to put maybe small pictures, maybe just journaling, or maybe you can just leave it blank, and this is basically going to be for you know, just like a fun element. So I'm going to take some of my tape off on the top, and then I'm going to place this down where I want it. Make sure you don't go on top of the bending line, so stay away from that a little bit. And we're gonna place this down there and remove the tape. Okay, so now we have this fun flap page. We can have pictures there and pictures here as well, and we can probably play around with this side a little bit more. I'm going to use the other piece that we have left over. This one measures 6 by 12, and I'm simply going to cut this into 2 pieces of 6 by 6. Here we go. I am also going to cut another piece of 12 by 12 into 6 by 6 pieces. So I'm going to do 6 inches and then 6 inches again, and same thing on this one. So I'm gonna have 6 pieces of 6 by 6, and then I'm going to score each one of these pieces at 1/2 inch. So here we go, and we are going to fold along the score lines, and we are going to put 2 sets of 3 together. So I'm going to start with the first 3 pieces. So I'm just folding along the score lines, and then I'm going to add my glue on this little 1/2 inch flap. Let's see what this is not working. There we go. So we're gonna add some glue here and line it up with the other one. Let's bend this 1/2 inch back so you can have a clean edge, and just place this one right on top. So we're making like a little booklet, and then we're going to do another one on top of those 2, just like this. Again, line it up on the same side, just right on top. And I like using glue so I can have a little bit of time to adjust, make sure it's even. Okay, so now we have the 3 pages together and a 1/2 inch flap on the bottom. We're gonna do the same with the other 3. Now we're gonna add the booklets into the folio. So I am going to place one on the top left side, and we're working on the third side of this. I guess you will call this a trifold for the second folio base. So I'm gonna place one on the left, just like that, and we're gonna place the other one on the opposite side. Okay, I always like to make things that are very symmetrical like that. I don't know why, just that's how my brain works. So we're gonna do this other piece here, and so now I'm going to open these 2 up completely, and we're going to close one at a time. That way they're kind of interconnected with each other, and that really helps bringing the bulk, you know, down compared to if you're putting 3 and 3. All right, so now on this bottom piece, I want to build a pocket. Now this pocket is going to help me keep these pieces together. So I'm going to cut a piece of cardstock that measures 4 by 9 1/4. So let's do 9 1/4 here. Then we're going to score 1/2 inch on 3 sides to create the pocket. And let's do that. And we're going to cut the corners to avoid any bulk, just like we did the other pocket. So here I have the pocket, but before I add this pocket down here, I think I want to build something else here first. So I'm going to use another piece of cardstock. I got this at 8 1/4, and this measures 12 inches. So I'm going to score at 4 inches and at 8 inches. And we're gonna fold this kind of like a little trifold as well. So we're gonna do one up and one down like so. And so I'm going to use now a piece from my scraps, just something small. So I'm going to cut the piece at 8 1/4 by 1 inch, and this is going to be a connector piece to add this little trifold into our album. So let me just do 1 inch here, and I'm going to score the little piece at 1/2 inch. So that's 1/2 inch here, and then we're gonna fold along the score line, and we're gonna add this right at the end here on the edge. So again, I'm just gonna use my glue, just do something like this, and place it right along the edge. Here we go, and there you go. And I'm going to cut a little extra here. So I'm going to add this into my folio. So I'm going to add the glue on this 1/2 inch here. Okay, and line this up at the bottom. Again, make sure that you stay away from your score line. So this piece is a little bit smaller than the back base. So just center that. And there we go. So now we have this little trifold piece coming down, and we're gonna place our pockets right on top of that. So I have my glue in there, and I'm just going to line this up with the corners. Okay, and then I cut 2 pieces from my scraps, and those we're going to add into the pockets. Those are just going to be some plain photo mats. Okay, so now we're done with this side, and when we close this up, we can either add something here or something here, but not on both sides because we do have the magnets. So I'm thinking maybe this will be a good area to add just a couple little flaps. So I'm going to cut another piece of cardstock, and I'm going to trim this at 8.5 inches. And then I'm going to cut these by 6 inches, so I have 2 equal pieces like that. And let's score at 1/2 inch along the 8.5 inch side. So let me just place this down here, and we're going to do 1/2 inch or 8 inches, either way. So I'm just gonna do this little flap, and we're going to fold along the score lines and add the tape. And now we're gonna add the pieces on here. So we're going to do one along the top and one on the bottom, and make sure that you leave the area where the magnet's gonna go open, so you don't want to add extra layers in there. So let me just line this up here on the top. Make sure that we are a little bit away from this bending line. And let's take off the tape. There we go. And then same thing on the bottom. Now this one, we're just gonna line up to the one on the top. Let me take some of this tape off. Okay, so, and then here we go. Put this down and take that tape out. So now we have another couple of flaps on this side. That one, they're not gonna interfere with our magnet placing. Now this page is a little bit heavy, and I think the accordion fold is kind of unfolding. So I'm going to add some magnets here as well. So I'm gonna open up the first layer of the trifold and place a magnet here. So just right there. And then I'm gonna open this other one, and I'm gonna put the other magnets, take out the stickiness, and now we're gonna press this down. So now this little trifold is going to stay close, and it's not gonna continue to fall, especially because this is what is holding our little feature up there. Okay, so now once this has paper, it's gonna be a little bit more stable, and it's gonna hold this whole thing from flapping all over the place. Okay, so now I think we're pretty much done with the base, but so when this opens up like that, we have a large area here for pictures as well. And since I have some cardstock left, I'm going to add just one more page because I like having a lot of room for pictures, different options for different layouts, and if we have the room, we have plenty of room for one more. Okay, so I'm going to cut these. Let's just do again 8.5, and I'm going to do 10 3/4, which is the height of the folio. We're going to score 1/2 inch on the side. Now I'm going to add this new page that we made, and we're just gonna open this up and place this on the left side. Again, make sure that you are not touching your bending lines. Okay, so here we go. And now we have one more opportunity to add a lot of pictures. So I really like how this folio is coming along. Now to embellish this folio, I'm going to be using this page with the clocks. I absolutely love it. So I got 2 at 10.5 by 8.25. So I'm gonna glue this down here, and I am using the same page because once you add this one here, it kind of looks like one continuous page with the frame here and a little bit of the frame on that side as well. So I like how that looks. So let's add this one here as well. And so yes, I really like the look of it. Here we go. So I'm going to continue adding the paper into the inside flaps, and I'm not going to record this part. I'm just gonna work on that off camera. When you're done adding all of your paper into both sections, you can go ahead and add your glue. We're gonna place a one on the left, which will be this one, and then this other one is going to be here on the right side, like this. And so I'm not gonna glue mine yet because I want to finish up adding my paper on the inside. So then when we close this, you'll see that we're gonna have plenty of room for both of the folios, or for both of the sections to fit inside the folio, and also plenty of room to expand because we already accounted for that on the design of each one of the pages. So I hope that you guys enjoy the tutorial. I'll be back with my final walkthrough so you can see how I finished up decorating the inside with the paper and some of the other chipboard elements as well. I want to thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to visit JS Hobbies and Crafts. The links will be on the description box down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.